Hi, my name is Paul Shore, and you're watching another edition of The Street Speaks, a spontaneous speaker's corner for Montrealers, where I give you and your neighbors a completely unfiltered platform to express yourselves about anything. Nothing is off limits. This week, Montrealers are speaking out in defense of texting and defense of calling. Some are sharing how they manage their complicated interpersonal relationships in trying times, and Rwandan Canadian shares his inspiring tale of survival and how we can't really afford to take what we have here for granted. Also, I've invited local dad and comic David Pride back up onto the Street Speaks soapbox. How important is it to art in the world for you? Do you ever think about those things?
It's essential.
Talk to me about what art means to you personally.
It's just about expressing myself and communicate with people. Art is all about communication. You don't need to speak the same language. Just like express yourself.
Art is the best way to express yourself even when words are enough, because there are a lot of arts that have to deal with words. But
I have a hard time expressing myself verbally, so I find it a lot easier to just draw a picture. And, it's a little harder for people to understand what I'm saying through drawing, I guess, but it's just a good outlet for me.
Makes me feel, I don't know, like a piece of yourself is being placed outside of you.
Does that feel good?
Of course it does.
it's the best outlet to express our issues, our feelings. It's very important, and essential is the word that I always use.
It takes a lot of courage to be a creator, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess so. Depending on how much you feel personally attached to whether someone likes it or not.
For me, it definitely started as a reaction where, it's like one person against the whole world, and it's like, oh, I can never make a difference, and what's the point of even trying?
That's what I was like. It doesn't take much courage to just make something because you want to hear it, and you really don't like. It's like they make a song or something. I literally could not give a crap if anyone liked it or not because I'm the one that wanted to hear it, but that really all depends on the artist and like what they get from the perception of their work,
Like I lose track of time and I'm not thinking about work or anything. It's just like I'm tapping into something that's subconscious.
These are things that somebody in their own mind wanted to see, or like it's painted something that you wanted to see. So I'm hoping that that's the deal. It's just like, oh, I'm feeling like this, I want to see this.
And letting things happen and coming to an understanding or truth through it, an articulation of myself that sometimes gets put aside for the work that I have to do in daily life.
And if other people look at it and they're like, that's cool, then that's bonus, And if not, it's the art, the act of creation, and that is the cool thing,
But you do stuff and you keep doing it, and then all of a sudden, people are giving you feedback and people are into it.
If there wasn't art, people would be so bored, and that's why I feel like people who cut the funding, the arts, are being very wrong.
And they're actually looking for it and they care, and it kind of gives it more meaning than when you first started.
That's my personal opinion. If you didn't have TV, if you didn't have newspapers, if you didn't have dancing or this festival that's a street art festival, or like how bored would you be is crazy.
Without art?
Yeah.
I think there'd be a lot of angry, frustrated, nervous, unhappy people.
Some people like it, some people don't like it, but in every case they will have a reaction. Either if it's good or bad, but they will still have a reaction. So you'll be able to exchange with people and like talk about it, even though they don't speak the same language as I said. So
Art brings something to everyone, even if you don't practice it. Even just to experience it, it brings reverie, it brings creativity, it brings a release, it brings just a reason to live, yeah.
This is Skinny Montreal's finest. Do you have it on you all the time?
Not when I'm at home, and I never have the ringer on, so it's much easier for people to reach me via text message than phone call.
They phone you.
No, just texting.
They text. Oh, so you're a texter?
Yeah, I love texting.
Okay.
I like I'm a huge fan of texting.
I find loud ringtones kind of obnoxious.
Okay.
No offense.
But you could choose any ringtone.
I know, I choose
No
silence.
ringtone.
Yeah.
So, for me at least, rock back the art of writing, you know? Like, you really sort of like, that's my favorite thing about it.
I miss writing letters. I was very passionate. I had a lot of pen pals.
You could be seen as frivolous, but at the same time, if you're good at writing words on a thing, you know, want to make something good to make someone laugh on the other end or something funny. If you get in a texting relationship with someone who's also good at words and like the back and forth, it's added so much joy to my life just through the laughter, like a good reply to something that you did, you know.
And I was very creative, and there's something special about writing on paper. Your thoughts are more focused. Take your time to say and express things well.
Text message.
Of course.
Why, of course?
I think text message is it's easier to text than to talk with people, especially because you have some kind of fees when you call people, so it's easier for me.
I keep meeting a lot of young people who don't like speaking on the phone.
Okay.
They get anxiety, some of them. Do you get anxiety on the phone?
I don't get anxiety, but I find there's a lot of people who just talk and talk and talk about nothing. I mean, I'd rather sit down and do that face to face.
When I text someone who's 25 and they're like, LOL, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, very short responses, things like that. The person doesn't want to enter into a back and forth of like upping the quality of it. They're just really just trying to respond and like get you out of there, you know? Like
I don't have a lot of patience for, really long conversations that don't really go anywhere.
Okay.
I like text messaging because it gives you a second to really think about what you're saying before you open your mouth and just come out with it.
But is life like that though? Like real life?
No, not at all. But I
still prefer it.
I do.
I don't know, some people are different, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've had friends that are just great conversationalists and like amazing people, but that when like you say something funny, you get a ha back, and just like I just give up on that side. But like if they're face to face, then it's a whole other ball game, you know. It's really how like you react to the tool, how you are with the tool, you know.
I think that was nice about letters. People haven't really done that in a long time. What are you gonna do when they cancel the postal service?
The people that don't reciprocate in that way, that it's like a funny like back and forth, it's just like fuck them. Like I treat them the same way they treat me. You know? Like I just drop them a short text and then get a short text back. You know, like I know not to try with certain people. I know to try with others. You know.
I think the one thing I would, I guess, not change, but add, I would just have more like events where you just get like, all right, let's all just go in the park and just like throw our phones away and just talk to someone. Just lock the fence and just get people to talk to one another.
To have a sense that your neighbors, get to know your neighbors, You know, get involved in community projects so that it gives you an opportunity to get to know people.
Because I'd never heard of community bike shops or people fixing things for other people for the love of it, you know?
It's not that common in your generation.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah.
People don't volunteer really, eh?
Yeah, they I guess they don't, or volunteer work is seen as a chore, you know, instead of something to do of your own volition.
Because I feel like in my apartment complex, for example, all of us on the floor, I'm pretty sure none of us know each other, and I'm pretty sure we'd all benefit from knowing each other. Like if we knew each other, we could be like, hey, let's do like a cook-off. One person cooks for the floor, and we'll all just talk, mingle, whatever. We're different ages. We can all share something, I feel like.
One of the most important things is how we just keep the place clean right in front of our own property. And if each one of us did that we own or we rent, how different our world would be.
Have a consciousness that that your home is not just the apartment or the house that you live in, but everything outside of it as well, and to take care of it, not pollute it.
There's even little ways like that of how we need to encourage people to take that kind of authentic kind of action and so on.
You know, I'm a volunteer. I do it literally of my own free time, you know, and then seeing that there were other people who did this, you know, of their own free time, and you know, that it was something as simple as fixing a bicycle. That was also a really big turning point in my life.
I walk down a street. If I see someone with fabulous gray hair, I stop her and I say, love the hair. If I see a cute dog, stop the dog. Sometimes it takes me an hour to go where I want to go because I'm talking to people. It's like it's MDG, it's fabulous.
For example, you coming up to us. I mean, we're all like, ugh. But like, obviously I'll volunteer because they're shy, but I feel like it's good. Like, it should be more people like you just say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. Let's talk. Because really, at the end of the day, I'll be like, hey, you know what? That conversation, that wasn't that bad. I got to talk. He got to talk. You know, he's a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. What's wrong with that?
I'm very happy to welcome back to the Street Speak Soapbox local dad and comic, David Pride.
As a parent, I have a vested interest in preserving the environment, which is why I'm here today to raise awareness about the single greatest threat to our global ecology: having kids. Families with kids pollute more than anybody else. We guzzle the most gas because we have to drive. Public transit and kids simply does not work. Once I pushed a baby stroller on a crowded bus, just once. Within 2 blocks, that bus's engine was being powered by raw hatred. So we need big vehicles to get around in. That's why families are always driving those gas-guzzling SUVs. Those aren't just to compensate for small genitalia. If that theory were true, then the mothers at my kids' daycare would have tiny vaginas. Besides guzzling gas, families with kids throw out tons of food. Entire shepherd's pies get poked and prodded and then rejected by these fickle, oblivious parasites, leaving scraps too numerous and huge to just pass off to the family dog, or even the socially conscious fat dad. So, in the landfill they go. Oceans worth of water are used up just for kids' laundry, which is as never-ending as the tides, which ebb and flow like an immature bladder. And while we're talking about waste, don't forget the diapers that get thrown out by the ton on a weekly basis, which is doubly wasteful because the crap in those could fertilize sub-Saharan Africa. Even the most benign, innocent accessories do damage. Every toy you give a child is packaged in paper and cardboard and styrofoam and plastic. We've all seen those plastic bags with the warnings, may be hazardous to children, may cause suffocation. If we were serious about helping the planet, we'd get rid of that plastic, or better yet, get rid of the warnings for children. Because children are the problem. And families with children are the worst perpetrators of planetary vandalism. The point's pretty simple. If we want to preserve the environment for future generations, stop making future generations. For The Street Speaks, I'm proud father and ecological plague enabler, David Pride.
Do you think it's Montreal is a good place to meet someone, like a real partner, or is it just a place to play?
No, it's a good
play?
It's a good place to play. It's a great place to play if you want to play.
I've been on online dating for a few years now. Well, I've gone out with a few guys. Never gone into a relationship through any of them.
You have a woman in your life?
Yeah.
A long time?
Well, a year.
1 year?
Yeah.
You met her in real life or on the internet?
On internet.
So I end up getting into a relationship with guys I meet on my own, but much less frequently.
Yeah, it's different. Of course, it's I don't know. I didn't have this experience much before, and I tried a couple of times. I met few people, but it's not as easy on the real life.
To meet someone serious, you can have users, people who use you for, you know, whatever you have or don't have, or what they can benefit out of you. Montreal is big for that, from what I know.
Talk to me about the Quebecers. What were the challenges? How are they different?
No, they're really welcoming.
Yeah.
Welcoming. And it's easy to make new relations with them.
But at the same time now, that's the way to do it. I mean, it's difficult. People doesn't go out. There's not really facilities to get togethers, or so many people are on the internet trying to reach or find the right person.
Mostly, I would say, especially in this city, people just send you a picture of, you know, their genitals or whatever, and they think it's all nice. But I mean, we all have one, right? So, yeah.
But it's not really easy to have strong relations, to keep strong relations with people you can meet.
Why?
I don't know. No.
Is it complicated with all the technology?
No, well, I'm only on one internet dating site. A lot of people are on like 4 or 5. I'm only on one. I only check when I get a message, so I'm not really like I'm not actively looking. I'm kind of enjoying my summer.
Montreal is kind of the fast life too, so it's like it's kind of hard to actually take your time with somebody, but I'm glad that I did. I don't know about, you know, anybody else. So.
Are you lonely?
Yes and no. I think I'm most lonely like right before I go to sleep.
So you check your email?
So I check Tinder.
Tinder, are you on Tinder?
I have a boyfriend, he's standing right there.
Okay.
But it did take 22 years to find somebody that was willing to take their time too, so.
Oh, are you on Tinder? Yeah?
Sometimes. I check it like once a week or so.
Have you met a lot of cool guys on Tinder?
I've met any guys on Tinder.
What do you do with Tinder?
I practice French. And yeah, I've met like 2 or 3 girls, and that's it.
So you're dating the first woman you met?
No. No. It's a long process, eh? Oh, yeah.
Any words of advice for young women and men looking to partner with all this technology?
Don't try too hard.
But if you're in the Quebec province, Quebec City is the best place to find a real lover. They're all romantic and sweet. Yeah.
Take it easy. Try once or twice a week. Take it easy again. Go to bars. Go out. Become better friends with your, like, girls should become better friends with their female friends. Guys should become better friends with their guy friends. Don't get too obsessed with finding a partner. It'll happen when it happens.
I like that advice. That was good advice.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Hang out with her more.
Foster your friendships.
I think we hang out with each other too much.
Yeah.
Do people call you?
Yeah.
Yeah, not just texting?
No. I'm a caller. Well, I mean, I'm calling for if I'm like speaking to my family who aren't around me, so I'm not just gonna text them. It's easier to just call.
Do you text?
I do.
Do you speak to people on the phone ever?
I do.
Talk to them or my friends because I don't live in the same city as a lot of my friends, so it's easy to call them and kind of catch up. It's a lot quicker that way rather than kind of just be texting all the time. But I text as well. Like I would say I do both.
You text?
Not much.
Well, I mean, because I don't have a smartphone, so it's like C, D, you know, yeah. It's like I'm 10 years behind.
Is it changing your life?
Yes. I think that I'm actually very conscious of the way that it is changing my life, so I'm actually like taking note of how it's changing me, so I'm trying not to like have these bad habits, I guess.
I prefer
call
that.
people?
I prefer face-to-face contact and telephone calls. I prefer speaking rather than texting.
Why?
I get an immediate reaction, an immediate response, and I can tell from intonation what the person's actually saying.
The reason my phone died maybe a month ago, and I was really enjoying life without it. I think it was like the cause of a lot of miscommunication.
I miss that a lot of my friends, even some of my family, instead of calling me and talking things out, they'll send me emails or, and I'm like, I still am a phone person.
I think the way that people have arguments over text and are able to flail insults at each other, I find it really disturbing. How much communication is lost in between text messages.
I still like to talk things out on the phone. I still like to talk to people on the phone for long periods of time, so that doesn't happen as much.
I don't think it's a valid form. It's not fair to base a conversation. You can't really know what's going on if it's all typed.
You spend a lot of time communicating with your girlfriend using technology?
No, not that. Not this girlfriends. No, it's means. That's a means of meeting people, but once it's done, that means you go in the real life with the real communication and real talking.
Whenever I bring it up, I'm a lot of my interpersonal relationships have gone to shit because
with boys,
with girls, with friends, with anyone, because there's so much lost in that little chain, or someone misinterprets something that you write. But I've asked a lot of people about this, just regular girls that I work with and stuff, and they can relate to it. And I still text. I still have a phone, but I try to sort of make, I guess, rules for myself in a sense. If I'm close to somebody, I shouldn't be texting them about serious things.
Why did you leave Rwanda?
The story of Rwanda is long and complicated. I consider myself religious, and I think the religion and the spirituality that drives my work is, I think, a key part to actually be able to do what I do, to be able to live with the memories and the past that I have. And religion has some of the answer, but I practice a religion that has also afforded me the freedom to ask many questions. When I was in the moment, I can vividly see the first incidents where I survived a massacre after they had shot a few people we were fleeing with, and we were allowed to move on because the guy commanding these massacres was a patient of my father, and had decided not to kill him and his children, but went after a group of people which included my mother and sister. I don't think it was ever in doubt that God wasn't there to protect us, to engineer miracles and improbable chances for survival. But I also think that you could see the ability for human beings to embrace a certain dark side to our psyche, in our psyche, to carry out these atrocities. There was a certain banality to the contradictions and the inconsistency in the narrative that many of these people were telling themselves. There were many religious people. There were many religious people who believed that God had commanded them to go out and exterminate us. There were all kinds of really messed up stories that come out of that intense moment of genocide, of mass murder. But on a personal level, I think I still remember walking away from that massacre thinking that if I survive, I will spend the rest of my life doing God's work.
That wraps up another edition of The Street Speaks. Thank you, Montrealers, for sharing, and thank you for watching. A special thank you to Skinny Bros and to local dad and comic David Pride, who graced our soapbox. If you want to get in touch with me, please don't be shy. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and I can be reached at thestreetspeaks514@gmail.com, and you can also find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Join me next week as Montrealers are speaking out about the ongoing challenges of gender equality. Some share personal stories of living with a mental illness, and others rave about how yoga and meditation are helping them stay centered and focused in their day-to-day lives. Also, I've invited Chris Vellon, a local singer-songwriter, and Imani Tucker, local poet, up onto the Street Speaks soapbox. See you next time.
My name is Pablo, the King of Tacos. You're watching The Street Speaks.
What makes you the king of tacos?
I don't know.